Chapter 11. The Encounter. The lightning was blinding for anyone who stared directly at it, and the thunder was deafening. Beneath the many swelling and churning clouds, Hadithor was sleeping on a donkey cart, which he had parked outside of a house in the city of Damanhur. His short reddish-brown hair and strong jawline, along with his tall and upright physique, gave him a sturdy look. The sleeve weapon was covered by cloth. The house was deserted, and there was no other house nearby, making it a perfect spot for him to sleep, as he was feeling extremely drowsy. But before he slept, he pressed a button on his sleeve weapon, and a compartment holding the small bottle opened, containing the superfood. He took a portion of the paste to survive. After consuming the superfood, he felt satiated, and was even sleepier than before. He lay on the donkey cart and fell asleep quickly. His loud snoring could be heard from 20 meters away. Even the donkey, tied to the nearby pole, was disturbed by his snoring. Despite the donkey's high braying, Hadithor saw Lyra in his dreams. Suddenly, the ominous sound of thunder brought him back to reality, and he woke up with a harsh jerk. He yawned deeply, but was thoroughly energized by the quick nap. He looked around, but there were no streetlights like in Lyra. It was all dark, pitch black dark, and the heavy clouds and rain made it difficult for him to see. Even he himself was nearly camouflaged in the darkness because of his black cloak. Within a few minutes, the water flooded everywhere, and the extended roof of the house started leaking. Hadithor started looking for a dry place and found that the roof was not leaking in one particular spot. However, he noticed that underneath the spot lay a large stalk of logs. He climbed over and sat there to see the heavy rain. While he was sitting on the stalk of logs and planning his next move, he saw 4 men approaching the house at a distance of roughly 500 supris. They were the same men who had been watching him in the city before. 2 of the men were Arab and donned floor-length milky white robes that were woven from pure cotton. On their heads lay white headdresses, along with heelless slippers made of pure leather. The other 2 were Europeans, who were wearing hand-knitted light red cloaks and long white socks that covered their legs completely, along with fine pairs of heavy brown leather boots. The Arab men were equipped with Arabian swords with curved edges, while the Europeans owned long powdered guns similar to the ones used by Napoleon Bonaparte's army, and one of them carried a large black sack. The men were talking in slow whispers. It was strange that they were still outside together at that hour of the night, especially when it was raining so heavily. Are they really thieves? He thought, staring at the men with utmost suspicion, along with a tinge of inquisitiveness. Luckily, the sleeve device was charged, and Hadithor activated it and switched it to the language translation mode, also activating the distant hearing module. After he applied the noise filter to remove the roaring sound of the rain and thunder, he could easily understand what the men were talking about, even though the sound was lower than 10 decibels. He learned that their names were Lorenzo, Francesco, Ahmar, and Salim. 2 of them were from a place called Italy, whereas the other 2 were the inhabitants of a place called Misr, Egypt in Arabic. Misr? I think I have heard this name before, but where? Hadithor thought intensively, trying to recall the place and time where he heard the name of the unknown place. According to what Hadithor was hearing, the men worked for some dealer named Florence Belzoni. Ahmar and Salim, Master Belzoni wanted 2 mummies this time. He said he would give 2,000 dirhams for each, said one of the men. He was clean-shaven, nearly 7 feet tall and heavily built, along with